Hey everyone! So I'm well into my series, How to Record Heavy Drums, and the feedback has been great. Your support and commentary has been fantastic. It's really wonderful to hear from everyone. Now, as an engineer, I try to learn something new every day. That's what keeps pushing me forward. Improving my own skill is something I work on constantly. New information is always great. And well, if there's one thing that I've learned while making this series is that drummers sure cry like little bitches when you tell them to move their hi-hat a couple of inches. Yeah, this has been quite fun. There's a huge amount of guys out there making absolutely mind-blowing drum recordings, completely sample-free of course, and telling me what a moron I am.
It sounds to me like you have to record a lot of mediocre drummers who lack dynamics. If you have a good drummer, the hi-hat 50 feet in the air really isn't necessary. I understand creating an environment that minimizes bleed, but I don't think it's fair to expect a drummer to completely change their kit for recording, especially if it results in the kit becoming harder to play. By this I mean higher cymbals and hi-hats. With more complex music and drum parts, it helps to have things closer together to get the best, cleanest performance. And if you disagree with this, keep in mind that there are numerous drummers and engineers out there who achieve fantastic sounds without making major changes to the kit in the studio.
It's not uncommon at all for engineers to ask a drummer to adjust their kit. Nobody said anything about moving their hi-hat 50 feet. I'm talking about 2 to 3 inches. I know that seems like a huge distance, as your girlfriend told me that your penis is about half that length. This is just something drummers should be adjusting well before even coming into the studio and practicing at home on. Look, if you want your kit elements to be replaced by samples, ignore everything I've said and do it your way. If you want to make a great recording using a real kit, some adjustments may be necessary to get the best sound. Unless you've got puny arms, it shouldn't be that big a deal.
You say all drummers, metal drummers anyway, should play rim shots. But when the guy at the end was playing, he wasn't hitting any rim shots. By the way, constantly hitting rim shots is a terrible idea. It does not create a bigger sound. It's a much more flat, dead sound.
You know, if you're trying to eliminate the stereotype of drummers being morons, you're not doing too much to help your cause. The clip you're referencing, yes, TJ was playing constant rim shots, and anyone with an IQ over 35 could easily tell that. I'm sorry if what we're doing here is a little beyond your understanding. The idea behind constant rim shots is to give the snare a much greater attack. A flat, dead sound is what you get if you just hit the skin and not the rim. I'm gonna go into great detail on why I insist on this in the studio in an upcoming episode. Stay tuned.
I never knew you tuned drums. Good thing I don't play them.
Yes, and humanity thanks you for that. There's already enough dumbasses playing drums and we really don't need any more.
Nice trigger you mixed with it. When you slow it down and analyze the even hit, you can get the sample. Thanks for being truthful. This guy's not done anything at all, has on the major labels or nationally known at all. Take whatever this guy says with a grain of salt. Also look how cocky he is and not humble at all. Be real careful.
Well, just because you see a trigger on the snare doesn't mean I'm firing off a sample. Listen with your ears and not your eyes. The truth is, you wrote in because you only wish you could get a snare to sound that good. Personally, I've never heard a snare sample that didn't suck. You just can't get that subtle variation from a sample, no matter how many layers you throw at it. And as for your claims that I've never done anything major, you've only proven to the world what an ignorant jackass you are. A little while back, I was brought in to do a rescue mix on Jeff Tate's Queensryche. I got to mix the song titled Everything. Now, it's not much, but it is something. And the album did chart on Billboard. And, you know, it was pretty cool to walk into a Best Buy and see a record on the shelf that I'd actually worked on. What was really great about that project, other than getting to mix Tate's vocal tracks, was the fact that Paul Bostaph was on the drums, and he's currently playing with Slayer. Those were probably the best played set of drums I've ever gotten to mix. The guy just had incredible technique. So yeah, nice try, but try again, dick.
You really don't seem to get the fact that many of us just can't afford or can't use acoustic drums. Do a how-to video on programming drums.
Well, I do understand that you just can't download a set of drums for free. It's not like you can run a cracked version of live drums. I guess getting a job and working for something is a little too much to ask for now, isn't it? You can find all sorts of secondhand gear, from drum kits to mics to interfaces, for a lot less money than new. eBay, local classifieds, pawn shops, you name it. That'll get you started and is a great place to develop your skills. I understand, it's a lot tougher than loading up drum software, but then again, nothing worth learning comes easy.
That snare sounds like shit!
Spoken like someone who is truly butthurt. You know, I checked out your channel. Move that hi-hat, you dumbass. And lastly, here's a quote from James Murphy.
Watching the part 1 now. 2.5 minutes in, and so far it's everything I've been saying for years. I don't force the issue too hard, except on the raising the cymbals off the toms deal. Yeah man, first thing I usually do with drummers is make sure their cymbals are placed for good recording. Best to start on that during pre-pro. Guys with their fucking crashes almost literally laying on top of their toms, covering a third or more of their playing surface. Those guys really get on my tits, LOL.
I figured I'd end this one with a comment from someone whose opinion actually matters. For those of you who don't know, James played lead guitar in numerous bands including Testament, Obituary, and Death. He's also a world-class recording engineer and has been a huge influence on my own production style. He also went on to explain why he prefers spaced pair overheads. So for those of you guys who ever want to work with him, make damn sure you're recording your overhead tracks that way as opposed to ORTF or XY. Even if the snare sounds better with those other techniques, like most things in recording, it's all about trade-offs. You'll get a wider stereo field with spaced pairs. Okay, that's it for this time, guys. In the next few weeks, we'll be taking a look at kick, toms, and snare, as well as mixing drums. Keep those comments coming, and tell your friends to hit that subscribe button. By the way, about that subscribe button, a lot of you guys requested to see me in those SMG booty shorts. Tell you what, if I get 50,000 subscribers, I will wear them in a video. See ya!